It was the third night of the silent text that read, "Don't come home." I sat in my car, the engine off, staring at the screen. The blue light was the only thing cutting the darkness of the forest road. That's why I was here now, at 8:45 p.m. My car heading a mile down the fire road, approaching our old cabin on foot. The woods were a wall of black pine. The cabin was a distant shape with a single warm light in the upstairs window, Sarah's bedroom. At 8:58, I crouched behind a moss-covered log. My heart was a frantic drum. I waited. 9:07 p.m. My phone buzzed, the vibration absurdly loud in the vacuum of silence. I didn't need to look. But then, a new wrongness, a profound, unnatural quiet. The woods are never this silent. I risked a look towards the cabin. Through the back window, I saw Sarah. She was pacing the living room, wriggling her hands. She stopped. She looked directly out the window, right towards my hiding spot. Her face was pale, streaked with tears. Slowly, deliberately, she raised her hand and pressed it against the glass. Then, she curled her fingers in, just once. A come here gesture. It wasn't a plea, it was a lure. A low melodic whistle pierced the silence. It came from the tree line to my left. It was slow, minor key, and profoundly off. A second whistle answered from my right. They weren't in the cabin. They were out here, with me. I clicked off my flashlight. The whistling didn't approach. It surrounded the cabin. A perimeter. Inside, Sarah turned toward the front door, her body rigid with terror. The brass doorknob was slowly, silently turning. Her eyes found mine through the window across the dark room. She muttered two words. "I'm sorry." Then, she turned, put on a smile that didn't touch her eyes, and called out, her voice sickeningly sweet. "Honey, is that you?" The door clicked open. A long, impossibly thin shadow stretched across the living room floor towards her. I ran. I crashed through the undergrowth, blind. Behind me, no one gave chase, but the whistling started again. It moved. It flowed through the trees, keeping pace. I fell, my phone skittering out of my hand into a shallow black stream. I sat there in the freezing water. The whistling stopped. The silence was a physical weight. I looked down into the stream. In the wrapped, dark water, my reflection was surrounded by several tall, still silhouettes standing among the trees behind me. Then, from the direction of the cabin, carried on the wind, I heard a voice. It was Sarah's voice, but flattened, mimicked, cheerful and warm. "Sweetheart, come inside. It's safe now." I didn't move. I just sat against a tree, the dawn light a sickly grey. I knew it would call again, and I knew, in my bones, that a part of me was already starting to want to answer. The patient in bed 4 had no pulse, but his monitor beeped a steady, mechanical 60 beats per minute. I noticed it on my first night shift. The one was a tunnel of blue shadow, the only light the jagged green lines on 3 monitors. The fourth was a flat, unwavering rhythm. "It's a monitor glitch, nurse Reed," Dr. Saul said over the phone, sounding exhausted. "Ignore it. Just shut the beeps." So I tried. But when I touched Mr. Alistair Finch's wrists, his skin was cool and waxy. No sign of life. Yet the screen showed a perfect sine wave. The beeping wasn't just sound. It was a presence. It synced with the flicker of a faulty light. At 3 a.m., I found Mr. Finch sitting bolt upright, his eyes glassy. "Do you hear it, nurse?" she whispered. "The ticking. It's in the walls." The next night, Miss Gable in bed 2 passed away. As As her monitor flatlined, I watched Flint's perfect rhythm stutter, skip a single beat and resume, and he smiled in his sleep. I started listening closer. I pressed my ear to the wall near bed 4. A faint tick was embedded in the plaster. The broken clock on the nurse's station wall twitched. On the third night, I found him standing at the foot of the empty bed. He turned. His hospital gown was open. In the center of his chest was a complex, polished brass assembly of interlocking gears, pistons, and mainsprings. It pulsed with a soft golden light. "He gave me this," Finn said, with his voice now smooth, oiled. "The Watchmaker. He said I could be perfect, timeless. But a clock needs a power source." He took a precise step towards me. A spring must be wound. I ran to the medication room and locked the door. I pressed my ear to the wood. The clockwork sound stopped, but the main light died, plunging the world into blue shadow. A long, thin shadow fell across the frosted glass. Then came the sound, the slow, methodic turn, flick, turn, flick of a large key winding a very large spring. A gentle, polite knock on the door. The handle began to turn with infinite, patient slowness. We adopted a silent little girl from the institute because they said she was amiably emphatic. After our son Leo's passing, the crushing grief made it sound like a miracle. Maya was 7, with large dark eyes that never seemed to blink. She didn't speak. She came with one rule: never make her scream. The first week was peaceful. The sadness lessened, but it was replaced with a deepening silence. Creaks stopped. The fridge's hum faded. Ben tried to play a record. It spun in utter silence. Our own voices felt too loud, and we'd whisper. Maya would watch, a faint smile on her lips. We found Leo's old dog, Baxter, one morning. He wasn't dead. He was still, warm but stiff. A perfect, silent taxidermy of himself. Maya knelt beside him, her hands on his head. She looked satiated. "What did you do?" Ben roared, but his voice was a strained, silent rasp. That night, the last sound vanished. The tinnitus ring I'd hidden for years was gone. The perfect silence pressed against my eardrum. I confronted Maya in her room. She was drawing pictures of our family, happy then distressed, then with X's over our eyes. I mouthed, "Stop it." She understood. She picked up a porcelain music box, wound it, and opened the lid. No music, a deep velvety void. The light bent towards it. She approached me. She placed her small cold hands over my ears. I felt a faint pull at my core. It wasn't sound being taken, it was the potential for sound. I broke away and found Ben. He turned from the dead TV, his mouth moving in silent panic speech. We were trapped, communicating by notepad. Outside, the world moved with imperfect, horrifying pantomime. Ben was breaking. The panic built inside him with no release. He was a boiler about to explode, the air around him simmering with trapped sonic energy. Maya stood in the hallway, watching him with intense anticipation. I saw his throat convulse. A single, powerful, silent scream manifested as a glowing, compressed ball of energy trapped inside his neck. The institute fine print was clear. The final sound she conceals is the scream her rules forbade. It is the most nourishing of all. I sit now, waiting. Ben is a silhouette of tension. Maya is a small dark shape in the hall. The silence is absolute. A vacuum-sealed tomb, and we are all waiting for Ben's spring to finally, catastrophically, wind down. Subscribe for more chilling tales. Sometimes the quiet is the loudest thing you ever hear.